to Lila the podcast. I am your host, Alexa, and today I am joined by another new guest, and he is super cool. He is one of my favorite people in this world. We grew up together, and I wanted to have a better intro than that, but he's my baby brother.
Now I want you to have a better intro than that.
Okay, well, I think he's my baby brother, but he's actually... now I want you to have a better intro than that. Can you... I didn't invite you on here so that you could annoy me.
Is that not exactly what you did?
Can you just stop with the mouse sounds? Can we try again? I'll keep it all.
Yeah, I know. Come on. I know your we'll fix it in post language.
I don't know what to say about you. Okay, welcome Welcome back to Lila the podcast. And I am your host, Alexa. If you're new here, welcome. If you aren't new here, welcome.
Also welcome.
Oh my God, it just gets worse every time.
No, it's okay. I have that effect on people.
I know. Okay, well, my special guest today is one of my favorite people in this whole world. I've been so excited to have him on the podcast and for everyone to get to meet him and see how cool and witty he is. And I don't know, just like a lot of people really do say that like the coolness of a little brother directly correlates to the coolness of an older sister. So, I don't know.
I have heard that.
You'll have to see. Everybody welcome my brother, Dominic.
Hi, I'm Dominic.
The official intro 5 minutes later.
Finally.
How does it feel to be on the podcast?
Well, when you interviewed Dad, like I remember I got the text, like it was like maybe 10 minutes before you started. I was on my way home from work. I see the text and you say, "Hey, don't come into the living room. Be quiet when you get home." Doing the podcast with Dad. And I'm like, well, why not me? I'm cool too.
Feeling a little left out?
Just a little. I'd like for the next couple days on my drives to work, I would be like brainstorming. Well, I'm jealous, but what would I talk about? What would I come on here to say?
You had to have something to bring to the table.
Yeah, I know I have everything to bring to the table,
right.
But I gotta pick. It's so hard when you're the greatest to ever do it.
I know, right. And some of the things that you're saying, well, mostly just that last part, really resembles a character in our main topic of discussion today.
Yes.
But I'm not ready to get into that.
Yeah,
I want to talk a little bit about you and who you are and our relationship a bit. But basically, I wanted to have you on the podcast for a really long time. I also felt like I didn't know what exactly to have you on for. Mm-hmm. That's kind of a hard thing for me sometimes is I'm like, oh, like, this is one of my friends. We gab and it's great. And like, we could make a great episode, but what is the topic going to be? Or with you, I'm like, it feels weird to ask you certain questions because like, I know. Like, you're my brother. I obviously know. So, where'd you grow up? One door to the left.
That's a more complicated question than you might think.
No, it actually is. We moved around a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to have you on, and then I just thought, okay, this is the perfect thing. So, today we're going to be analyzing a movie, not just a movie, but the movie.
The movie.
The greatest one of all time.
Well, it's great.
Well, okay. We might be on different pages.
Really?
Okay, you're right. Maybe it's not...
I've got plenty good to say about this movie.
Okay.
I have very, very, very few bad things to say about this movie. Mm-hmm. I might not even say them. So, the movie that we're going to be examining today and arguing for, and just... Basically, the argument is that it's a cinematic masterpiece, yeah? Mm-hmm. Is that what we're arguing? Yeah, a cinematic masterpiece ahead of its time, groundbreaking...
Yeah.
In its genre and medium.
And timeless also.
Oh, I'd say so.
I'd say... I watched it again today and I felt inspired.
Yeah.
And if it's not already obvious by the way we've been talking about it, the movie we're going to be talking about today is Surf's Up.
Surf's Up, solid.
Yeah. And if you don't know what it is, your life's about to change.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, first of all, I would say we're going to be getting deep into topic on this movie. So if you haven't seen it... it's $4 on Amazon to rent, so go do that real quick. Join us back in like 90 minutes.
True. I do think that and it's an hour and a half, as movies should be. I miss the days when they were an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I was kind of ready to get moving, itching, like an hour and a half was enough. 2 hours is pushing it. And everything is like at least 2 hours these days.
Yeah. Yeah. Not every movie needs all that time. Some of my favorite movies are that long, but one of my like absolute favorites is The Thing, which is, I don't even know if it fills a whole 90 minutes. Actually, it might be 100, but it's brisk. It's good.
Yeah.
I like good pacing.
Yeah. Well, and you know what you're talking about. And I guess we should really talk about why you're the person to do this with. Why are you qualified? So, Dominic, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, I am a screenwriter. Haven't had anything like sold yet or anything. I'm still in college. I'm still learning a lot. I have had a couple of scripts make it to the screen to varying effect. We don't need to talk about adaptations. I'll just... My classmates and coworkers have heard enough of my whining.
Yeah. You had a different vision than the execution.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And that's something that you have to come to terms with as a writer. You know, like, unless you want to be a true auteur, you want to be a director and writer, which directing would be really cool, but there's just so much. There's like 1,000 moving parts to that. So many different people you have to manage. You have to manage yourself in a lot of different ways. And
really, I have no idea what a director even like I understand that it's a really big deal and they're like kind of the like head person of everything. But I know at its core, like, I don't know what a director does as far as, because you're saying all these moving parts.
Well, see, for a second, I thought you were joking, because a lot of what a director does is kind of what you do.
Wait, which part? Which job?
Well, I mean, you're also kind of doing the work of like a cinematographer and like audio technician and editor, which a director does.
Oh my God.
All of those things to a certain extent.
I didn't know I was so talented. Wow.
See, you still sound sarcastic.
No.
Oh my God. Guys, I have to tell you about this revelation. I am the best to ever do it, ever.
I'm a star. No, I don't. I'm kind of kidding, but I'm kind of serious. I don't think of, like, I think of all of this as like, oh, I'm doing my podcast. I don't think about it. The fact that there's like a lot of jobs within it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. We're running a podcast, like, it seems like the thing, you know, everybody's doing, but not everybody succeeds at it because not everybody realizes how much you are actually doing. Like, it sounds glamorous, but it's like glamorous once you get up there and you can afford to pay other people to do this stuff for you.
Yeah.
Because
then you're just getting paid to talk. But like, if you're lucky, and a lot of times if you already had a platform, like, in a dream world, I would be able to do this podcast and just do the fun parts of it. I would get to just talk to people and have cool guests and show up and then be like, okay, great. Can't wait to hear what it sounds like when it's posted. Can't wait to see the clips. But like, I know every episode, I've listened to it many, many times. And I have watched it a few times, even though I haven't posted as many clips, because that is just like, honestly, the most time consuming part and one of the most crucial parts of like actually gaining any kind of platform with a podcast. Yeah. But anyway, why did this become about me?
Because you're awesome and my sister and I love you.
Okay, well, you're awesome and my brother and I love you. So let's get back to you. Okay. You're a screenwriter. You're in school. And you, for, I don't know about always, but I feel like for many, many years now, you've just shown like an extreme interest in film. And when we would go to a movie at a theater, it wouldn't just be like, yeah, that was really good. It would be like you and dad are talking about specific things about why it's good. And that's why I think you're a really cool person to have this conversation with about kind of a silly little movie. Yeah. Because you're actually going to come to it from like the point of view of a writer. I mean, we're both writers in different ways, which is kind of interesting how we both ended up doing that. But yeah, so you're super cool. What are some of your hobbies outside of that?
Well, the big thing that I do is I play Smash Bros. Competitively for University of Wisconsin, River Falls. Thank you very much for helping me travel the tournaments basically for free.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty cool.
It is really cool.
Because like that's literally considered, it's esports. So like...
Yeah. It's kind of crazy how the university treats it very similarly to its other athletics. Like, we have to sign all the same paperwork. I have to get a physical done before each season. They care about me in terms of like liability stuff, but
Aww, you're a liability.
Aw, yeah. Oh my God, I've never been one of those before that I know
yes, you have. You're my little. You're my brother. You've been a liability.
Yeah, but another opportunity I have there is I am actually the captain of my team. And it's a small team, like I think the difference is that I am, as of a few years ago, a theater kid. So I have a little bit more panache, as my head coach puts it. Yeah.
A theater kid.
ER, not RE. Let's be careful here.
Not theatre.
No, not theater.
Okay.
Interior crocodile alligator. Sorry, that's dated.
Brain
that was
rot.
dated when I found
Brain rot. That's like 2020, 21. I don't know.
Yeah. So one might say that I am marketable among them. Something I like to try and do, and it's something like a lot of the shows and movies that I've been watching in the last couple years, I've noticed I have more of an interest in sports-related media. Like, I just find the storytelling of both nonfiction and fictional sports stories, it's really cool. I find it really inspirational. I like to find ways to apply it to other parts of life. And I also see a lot of it translate to esports in general. And that's something that's like the biggest gap, There's been plenty of times I'll tell people I do esports, I'm the captain of an esports team, and people chuckle a little bit. And I mean, it's like a tad hurtful, sure, but I also get it because they're thinking you're not an athlete. In the paperwork, you're an athlete, but you're not out there working. Oh no, everybody, they're tearing ligaments out there. You have carpal tunnel after a few months. But the thing is, we're not physically active like that. A lot of the mentality around being part of a team and pulling your own weight and having your own personal journey with it and training, keeping at it, having a healthy relationship with competition, it's all very familiar when you think about how people improve in sports and how people coach sports. And that's an energy that I like to try and bring to that sort of environment. I like to try and bring us out of these stereotypes of being, just lazy couch potatoes. We're sitting in the basement, mindlessly tapping buttons on a controller. That's not what we have to be. We can be just like any of them. And a big part of what helps me see that is seeing the people at the top level competing. And whenever I see somebody win up there and they just go crazy in celebrating their victories, and then they have their friends rushing the stage to come hug them and hype them up. And I want every competitor to experience something like that. And I want to make sure that we are creating an environment that creates a path for that. And as you can tell, being captain, I've picked up some of this lingo that helps with sports interviews.
You sound like a really great captain. You get interviewed like at these tournaments that you travel for?
Not at the tournaments. Oh. No, because we're not top players or anything. I mean, my friend Riley, best player on our team for sure. He's got really good placements at some of these tournaments, but none of us are quite the level. We're not getting sponsored.
People are getting sponsored at these events?
For our game in particular, Super Smash Bros., there is significantly less money in our game than in any other competition esport because Nintendo just doesn't support us like that. They have a really bad relationship with the competitive scene for us. So anybody who's making money playing Smash Bros. Competitively is doing so through sponsorships and content creation.
But who's sponsoring them?
There are some esports organizations who they have, their thumbs in a lot of different pies for other games, you know.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I tried to think what metaphor am I using here?
I know what it is.
You know,
it's just.
But a big part of how you get sponsored is being marketable too.
Mm-hmm.
So being somebody, not just a great competitor, but being somebody that others within the community will look up to, and others outside of the community will look at and say, hey, that shit might not be so bad.
Mm-hmm. So is that like, I would guess that a lot of people that are, you know, going to these competitions that you're going to are streamers. Mm-hmm. Like that has to be a big way that people are making money that way.
Some people are going to these competitions not even to compete, but as commentators. They get paid to be commentators there because they're personalities within the community, not necessarily top players.
Have you ever thought about streaming or anything like that?
Oh, absolutely. I tried it once, but unfortunately, I have a gaming laptop from 8 years ago, and it was outdated then.
Yeah.
So I tried streaming once. My camera quality was garbage. My audio quality was whatever. I had one friend tune into the stream and say, hey, big dog, I see nothing.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I couldn't even stream an emulated Fire Emblem game on my laptop. That made me sad.
You couldn't even stream an emulated
You don't even remember what
Fire
words
Emblem
I just... Oh,
game?
yeah, there you go. Great game. Highly recommend.
Well, someday you can stream. I think you'd be a great streamer.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You've got the personality for it. You've got
so.
the looks. I mean, we have the same parents. I know where you get the looks from. We have the same face, apparently. I don't see it, but other people tell me that we look a lot alike.
I don't see it either. That's really weird.
Yeah. I think it's only certain pictures.
It could be.
I don't know. Mm-mm. Anyway, I'm infinitely proud of you. I can't believe that you're already 22.
Mm-hmm.
We are 3 years apart, which is the closest age difference in our family for siblings. So our older sisters are quite a bit older than us, quite a bit older than you.
For sure.
I guess just like we really grew up together in the same household more so than our sisters because like our parents got divorced when we were younger and then like we're dating other people when we were still in the house versus our siblings were kind of out of the house. So like we just had more of the same childhood, I'd say, or like growing up more teenage years. So yeah. Well, should we get into the movie?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So Surf's Up. If you haven't seen it, you really should. If it's been a while, let's give a synopsis.
It is a mockumentary, so documentary style animated movie. So it's not actual documentarians. They animated people filming a documentary about surfing penguins.
So it's not just a documentary, but it's like a movie about the filming of a documentary. Mm-hmm. So it's like the behind the scenes of it.
Yeah, you see like you don't see any of the penguins behind the cameras and stuff, but you do hear their voices. You see them get injured.
Yeah, you see like the boomsticks.
Yeah. So they're not actually using these documentary techniques. They are using animation to emulate those techniques and like the style of a documentary and the way people talk to each other. It's kind of fascinating, especially for a goofy surfing penguin movie by Sony Pictures in the 2000s.
I know. And so basically the main penguin, Cody, he lives in Antarctica, Shiverpool to be exact, and he dreams of being a surfer. Yeah. And everybody in his town is like, oh, he's just a dreamer. When are you going to get real? Oh, it's just a stupid hobby. Like,
classic there Frozen Britain. Everybody's miserable.
Oh, there he goes surfing again. He should get serious and go sort fish like all the rest of us. But then a talent scout comes and he doesn't get it because there's no waves because he's trying to surf in Antarctica.
Yeah, he's so enthusiastic to demonstrate his surfing ability to the one person who's giving him a chance here, and then the stars just don't align. There's no waves, and Mikey, the scout, just leaves him.
He's like, yep, sorry, no.
Next year.
I got a tight schedule. Start the whale. They're all traveling on this whale, right?
Very fun.
So then they start to travel away, and Cody is persistent. He dives into the water. He tries to catch up. He crawls onto the whale's tail and gets flung far away. And then he catches up again.
He's persistent.
I think he gets flung away twice.
I think the waves catch him and he wipes out, and they're like, oh, that's too bad. And then he shows up. He's clinging to the tail of the whale, and then it comes up. He almost gets on, flung backwards half a mile. And he just
Nevertheless, he persists.
Yes.
He dives and dives and dives and dives and dives. He catches up with the whale. He gets it. And then the bird's like, yeah, whatever. Sure, you can come.
He's just a little guy. You know, he's a rockhopper penguin. He's the runt of the litter. They make it a point to show us
he was the runt of the litter. And he has like... he has this brother that's just like...
Glenn,
just the classic. Yeah. They're just fighting. He's like, you're an idiot. Oh my God, he's stupid. Like, he's never going to win. Like, they're just constantly bickering. He's completely unsupportive. Mm-hmm. And it's like, he's huge and Cody's like this little runt.
Yeah.
And anyway, so there's that whole part of it. And then it's like, they were raised by just his mom because he never knew his father. And then it shows a picture of him, of his father, and like some big killer whale with its jaws open right behind him. Yeah,
they like to use like fake historical media a lot in it. Like they show old videos with like weird frame rates, like old
make it
the
look
first
like
surfers,
film.
you know?
Yeah, they'll make it look like film or put like weird filters on it to make it look like old footage.
Yeah,
it's like seriously genius.
Yeah.
And then on the whale, he meets his new best friend, Chicken Joseph, Chicken Joe, who this movie would not be complete without.
Oh, absolutely not.
He is the moment.
He's more of an observer, but he is the thesis of the film.
What do you mean by that? Like,
well, do you want me to get into this after we introduce Big Z?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
Chicken Joseph, he is a chicken who's kind of a stoner type character. He's really goofy. He somehow wins by just like being lucky, basically. Like, he catches waves by just being lucky and just
not exactly
floating
by being
around.
Lucky. It's by going with the flow. Motion of the ocean.
My God, it's so much deeper than I even thought.
Yeah, the ocean's very deep.
Yeah.
Yes.
The movie
is like the ocean, which, by the way, looks gorgeous in this movie.
Oh, the water is so realistic. They I believed it.
Well, have you been in a tube, like the tube of a wave before? Does it look like that?
Oh, honey.
Not quite that level.
You saw what happened to Cody.
Yeah.
I told you. The day before my first surf lesson ever when I was in Hawaii, I told my host dad there, I was like, my dream someday is to surf a tube or a tunnel or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was like, and you could do that. You got to keep working really hard.
You're here for how many more months?
And then I went to my first surf lesson and I was humbled very quick. Because
that is not easy.
I can't even freaking catch the white water on my own. So,
it's like skateboarding, but the whole ground is a wheel.
Yeah, and it's merciless. If you go for the first wave, so waves will come in threes. If you go for the first wave and you don't get it, then you're going to get pounded by the next two, which is exactly what happened to Cody. He's clearly not an experienced surfer.
No, but he's the best surfer in Shiverpool, for sure.
Yeah, so true. He's the only one.
We don't know that. We didn't see any of them. But
so they get to this island where this big surf competition is being held. And the whole thing is he has this big idol of his hero that was a big surfer. His name was Big Z. And he met him when he was a kid. He came to Shiverpool and gave him a necklace that he's like, he gave it to me. And it's like actually just one of those.
Well, yeah, I really like it. It's kind of played for laughs, that whole scene. Big Z, this celebrity surfer, comes surfing up to the shore of Shiverpool. And Cody's narrating, and he says, like, man, he could have walked up to anyone. He walked right up to me. And what we see is that there's a crowd of penguins, and Cody bursts through all of them to get in front of all of them, just to be in front of Big Z. And he's just got the biggest smile on his face. He's so cute. The baby penguins in this movie are so cute.
They're so cute.
That's definitely,
and of course they include like baby penguins, and like some of them have like the close-up interviews too that are just so silly and like exactly what a kid would say.
Yeah, they do a really good job showing us like the culture around the sport in this movie. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of fun.
I wonder if that's where my like love and desire, my love of surfing and my desire to become a surfer was in this movie.
It could be. I mean, you were how old? Like 8 when this movie came out?
I watched it today and I felt inspired. I wrote down a couple things that were like really actually inspiring for life.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, like Big Z, you know, as he said, he hands Cody this necklace. It's this one-of-a-kind Big Z necklace. It's a cool seashell with a big Z carved into it. And, I mean, we see pretty much right there, there's a bunch of these. It's not one of a kind at all. But
it's like a cheap.
But what matters is that's how Cody saw it, and that's what inspired him to keep at it for all these years when he's surrounded by nobody who shares his passion, nobody who shares his dreams, nobody who encourages him. He's like, his brother Glenn is like just this big imposing figure of just, you have a very simple purpose here. Stop doing this thing. You're wasting your time. You know, it's all very silly, but it's actually really sincere. I like it.
Yeah, no, it's completely about somebody that grew up in an unsupportive environment, and everyone is told to just fit in, and he was born to stand out. That sounds so cheesy, but it's true.
It is cheesy.
But the fact that he's living in somewhere where like surfing would never be a thing, right? And it's just kind of like, yeah, sometimes people are born into an environment that just like doesn't fit them, you know? And everybody there is discouraging. Like, not only not encouraging, but completely discouraging. Like, thinking he's an idiot, thinking he's wasting his time, saying like, when is this kid gonna get serious? And in the movie, he's 17.
Yeah. I mean, what's the lifespan of a rockhopper penguin, though?
I don't know if that was considered in the movie.
Yeah, probably not. He's very Shia LaBeouf age. That's all that matters. Yeah, they say 17. He's whatever age that a rockhopper penguin would be most like Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, that's who voiced him.
Yeah.
But he persists in this like dream and passion that he has, and he's like not really like, it shows him wiping out a lot and just like continuing to get up and surfing on like surfboard he made out of ice chips, you know? And it's like, wow, that's actually really inspiring, because he has this like big dream, this big idol, and he met him once when he was a little kid and got that little necklace, and like that literally fueled him for the next over a decade.
He has all this drive and he's very resourceful. He just doesn't have guidance.
Yeah, and then he goes to an island to compete in a surf competition. Like, think about how different those environments are. He's never been anywhere that's not freezing.
Yeah, and it's like tropical.
Yeah.
It's Penghu Island.
It is Penghu Island, yeah.
I don't know if isolating that makes it actual different words in some language, but probably not.
I don't know. I think it's just for the kitschiness of the movie or something. I don't know. But fun. Like, that is actually really inspiring that he did that.
Yeah, and there's
some respect on his name.
There's like
Cody's me, bro. You gotta let me be me. Cody's this, Cody's that, Cody's just a bum. That's what he says. If you've ever heard that it's like
definitely,
it's like a sound on TikTok and stuff. If you've ever heard it, it's from Surf's Up.
Yeah.
And also same with that sound that's like, have you met the ladies? This is what are any of the names?
I don't remember much of them, but the one that always sticks with me when the antagonist Tank Evans is going through his trophies and all the names he gave him. He's like, this is Jeannie. I dream of her.
Yeah. This is Lucy. Firecracker. This is Anna. Beauty.
This will be my next one.
Yeah.
Leah.
I'll say that again. Leah. So if
we cannot do that gorgeous voice test.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's Diedrich Bader. He was in Napoleon Dynamite as Rex Kwon Do. And actually, Chicken Joe is Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's John Heder.
Oh, God, Chicken Joe is my favorite. I love Chicken Joe so much. I love his philosophy on life. Like, he keeps getting himself into situations. Like, on the island, Chicken Joe... Okay, wait, we're not there yet.
We're not. Well, we've gotten to the island.
Okay, yeah, but on the island, basically, Cody challenges Tank Evans to a surf off because he's talking shit about Big Z, who died, quote unquote.
Yeah, Big
and
Z
disappeared.
died in the Boneyard, which is a very rough reef just outside the competition area on the North Shore of Pengu Island.
Yeah.
And he was in a match 10 years ago against Tank Evans.
Where he disappeared.
Yes.
And then Tank Evans is like talking crap about it, throwing rocks at the memorial surfboard for Big Z. And so Cody goes up there and defends his honor. So he challenges him to a surf off and gets absolutely smoked. And like the way he gets tossed by the waves again and again and again, I was like, unfortunately, this is too real. Like they really got it right. They got every detail of this movie right. So he gets knocked out, and the lifeguard brings him to this like old guy that lives in the woods to help him fix it. And he pulls this long thorn out of his foot from a sea urchin.
Yeah, when he wipes out, he gets put underwater by two massive waves after he wipes out. So like he can't get, it's almost like a rip current, you know?
Yeah.
It's very scary and dangerous. Like he very well
We
could
could have
died.
lost Cody that day.
We could have lost Cody. Oh my God. Stop. Okay. But in the process, like he steps on a fire urchin that was the bottom on the reef. And after he gets his foot inspected and he pulls out the needle, the documentarians interview the fire urchin. Ivan the fire urchin. He says, stepped on me, you kidding? This guy was dancing on me.
broken.
Gone. Broken.
Like, how genius is that? They interviewed the sea urchin.
Yeah, because like there's no story reason really for them to be penguins, you know? It's just the fact that it's animated. It needs to be, you know, a family movie, cute animals, it's fun. Penguins are silly.
There's penguins in cold climates and warm climates. Like they could make it like a thing.
But they do a really good job like using that for comedy to make up for the fact that it doesn't really need to be here.
Yeah.
I'd argue this the same thing for Shark Tale, which is just a mob movie that could have absolutely been done with humans, but they decided to make fish puns for 90 minutes anyway.
Oh God, Shark Tale's so good too.
But we're not talking about Shark Tale.
We can't because I'm going to start thinking about nobody lived when I was a nobody.
Well, I did.
Oh,
Heartbreaking. Sebastian.
That's
whatever.
for another time. So
Next time I'm on the podcast.
Then he's missing basically, and Chicken Joseph is such a good friend, and he goes into the woods to try and find him, but he gets captured by these like
the penguins,
which are kind of like cannibals, basically.
That's the joke. Is that these are a primitive cannibal tribe living on this island that has been used for a high-profile competition for over a decade.
I didn't even think about that part. I just thought it was a funny side story.
I guess that's probably good. You know, they don't interfere with the tribe. I just don't.
Yeah. When so they tied Chicken Joseph on this. I don't know why I always use his formal name. So they tied Chicken Joe.
He never says that.
What?
He never introduces himself as Chicken Joseph.
He says, I'm Chicken Joseph for long.
Does he say that?
Yeah.
I did not notice him say it.
He says that when he's in this moment I'm talking about, when he's tied up onto the wood stick and they're like carrying him back to their camp and chanting, and he's like, oh, this is so nice. Like he doesn't have to walk. And then they put him in a tank of boiling water and put all these vegetables. He's like, they put me in a hot bath. They gave me some food. Anyway, it's just one of those funny things where it's like he's so oblivious to the fact that he's in serious danger, and he just like walks off and somehow gets away with it. And
he rides the wave.
Yeah, he rides the wave. He gets himself out of these situations. He doesn't panic.
That's his mission for the movie. His intentions are pure. He's looking for his new buddy Cody the whole time. And you know what? It pays off. Yeah, eventually Cody does. Spoiler alert. We'll get to that.
Spoiler, we told everybody not to listen to this if you haven't seen it.
That's a good point. So Cody saves his life and is the reason Chicken Joe wins at the end of the movie.
Cut to. We probably don't need as many details as we're using. But I just that is why that is such a good, funny part of that movie.
He's living Lila.
It's so Lila. But he's really just there to have a good time and hang out with his buddy. He doesn't even realize he's in a competition. He doesn't even realize he won. That I love. He's literally just there to enjoy and do what he wants to do. And he's a chicken in this world of penguins.
Yeah.
He doesn't even notice.
For some reason, people have the gall to make remarks of, tastes like chicken in this world. for the chicken is right there.
Yeah, I love it. Turns out that old guy that helped him, he finds out, whoa.
That was Big Z. The geek was Big Z. And the geek, played by Jeff Bridges, also known for being the dude in The Big Lebowski.
Really?
Yeah, that's kind of a fun
See,
little
you
callback.
know names. Like,
yeah.
You know all these actors and where the voices are from.
Well, a lot of these are huge names. I mean, Shia LaBeouf, Zoe Deschanel is
Lonnie.
Well,
of course I know her, New Girl. So in the end, that guy ends up being his idol. He learns how to surf from his idol.
Well, I think we're missing a lot of development here.
I know, but I just feel like we're
rambling on.
We're just retelling the story.
Well, sure, but that's how we find these moments within the story that speak the most. Like, a fun little detail I like about the geek is, he's always asking people to bring him clams when they come there. I think the clams are supposed to be like alcohol, essentially.
Oh, I figured it was food.
Yeah, no, he's got a bunch of these shells lying around. Like, whenever he's just lounging around, he checks one. Like, a little drip of whatever was in there comes out, and he tosses it aside. He's a bum.
Yeah.
A lot of these slightly edgier, like kids' comedies, these cartoons, they like to find little allegories for alcoholism. Like, have you ever seen Regular Show or heard of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anytime there's an episode with hot wings, the hot wings is alcohol. They're getting blasted in that episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
I mean, there's also a lot of drug references in that show, but
Regular show
is something else entirely. Yeah. But this felt in a similar vein to Regular Show in terms of its style comedy and its characters. I liked it. But it's clear, Big Z, he wants to disappear here. When he reveals himself to Cody, when he discovers who he really is, he explains that when he faked his death, he said competition had become everything to him. And he was watching Tank perform miles ahead of him, and he just thought, I can't do this. I can't go back to that shore and look my fans in the eye who have looked up to me as an idol, as an icon for years. And so he just took a dive. He sent his board into the reef and he just disappeared behind the wave. He gave up because he saw that he had lost what he really loved about surfing. And instead of using that as a reason to go rediscover his love for surfing, he used it as an excuse to go be a bum for a decade. And that's where Cody comes in. That's where Lonnie comes in, trying to get him off of his lazy ass. And Cody happens to be a great opportunity. Somebody who saw Big Z as more than he even was. Like, everybody knew he was an idol. Everybody looked up to him. But this was somebody who had met Big Z, maybe not even shared a word with him before, but still saw him as the most important person in his life. And he was a father figure to him, too. This invisible father figure, because Cody didn't grow up with a dad. And that's how you really reel me in for a story easily. Make it like found father figures, which is weird because my biological father is sitting right down there and I love him very much and I learn a lot from him every single day. But some of my favorite movies, Treasure Planet, that's all about the relationship between a young man and his very complicated relationship with a father figure. Or Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Chris Pratt dealing with his evil planet-sized space dad, and just I'm not going to unpack everything about why I love those stories, but they have a really good track record for me, and they're really easy to identify with just as a young adult male. So seeing how Cody finds Big Z in the worst of states in this story, and then has the influence on him with all this fire and all this inexperience, like, it's what brings Z back to what Cody saw him as.
Yeah. Well, and it's a similar thing to last week. Dad and I watched Robots again. Yeah. It's a similar thing to that. There. Oh, you watched it with us? Yeah. Okay, I couldn't remember.
Yeah. I love the dad in that movie too.
Oh God, it makes me want to cry.
It's so good.
I know. And you get sick. Okay, I can't. But anyway, like he's an inventor and he feels so excited and jazzed up, and he wants to meet his big inspiration, Big Weld.
Man,
and
big dudes in these mid-2000s animated comedies.
Also let himself go, let the whole thing go, was like, yeah, well, money took over, so.
There's a bit of an allegory about dominoes there, too.
Yeah.
He let one thing get to him, and it caused it to just get bigger and bigger. Bigger problem. He needed...
I never put that together. See, this is why you have to be here, because you see all this stuff.
Yeah, get me on here more often.
Start your own.
I charge low rates.
Yeah, pizza and a beer. But it's like a similar story that it kind of almost starts to seem like it's going to be like a don't meet your hero story, because they're so excited and they almost like lose their inspiration for a sec.
Yeah.
Or like they get so angry at the person because they're like, what do you mean? Like you're not who you are. Like I have this fire in me because it's the fire in you, and now you're telling me that it's like burnt out. And that's just a really cool story to hear, is like this person that was a hero, an icon, an inspiration to so many people, then getting re-inspired and like lit up by the people who, like, he's the reason they feel that way. Like he's getting it back from them. And I just think that's a really interesting thing to see. Like, this is a kid's movie, you know?
Yeah.
And it had so many big life lessons in it. And, you know, like Tank Evans or whatever, 'cause he's the epitome of like...
Every time he shows up on screen, I just could not continue. He's just so big.
The thing is, like, he's the epitome of the antagonist in like all the things you think of him, like being full of himself, not caring about anyone else, blah 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 blah.
He's just after the trophy.
But the difference is in this movie, he's literally outright saying all those things, versus like in real life, you don't hear them say like, I don't care about anybody else. Like,
oh yeah,
what do I think about losing? Makes winning that much better. There's got to be losers.
Yeah, they're interviewing everybody because it's at a moment when Cody and Z are talking about like whether winning is everything. Because Cody is very much competition minded, and Z is trying to reel him entirely away from that. They're kind of trying. What they need to find is they need to meet each other in the middle here, finding peace and a lot of fun in surfing, and still being able to be a part of the competition culture, making sure that neither side is demonized here. So then the documentary crew who's watching all this, they go around and they interview all the people on the island. They're asking like, what does winning mean to you? And they go to Tank, and he's doing push-ups on hot coals, and he says, oh, I get it. Can't be a winner without the losers, right?
Yeah, they just show this antagonist as like the epitome of what you think of somebody that is that in real life, but he's saying everything straight out, and I just love that.
And usually, I mean, you do sometimes hear people talk like that in sports, but it's because they're a heel. That's the personality that they're playing up. Like in wrestling, especially, whenever there's a villain, it's because they're scripted to be a villain, and they're just playing the act, and they're doing it well. Sometimes they do have that much of an ego because they're actors. It's bound to happen when you're that kind of star, but usually, you know, you need that for entertainment value. It's good to have a villain for spectator culture, to have somebody to take down, to have other people to root for and be like, oh man, I can't wait to see this guy take on the Tank, because somebody's got to take him out. So he's got to bring him down. This guy...
It's Chicken Joe at the end of the day.
Oh, we love Chicken Joe.
It was Chicken Joe. Cody sacrificed everything. He sacrificed his life so that Chicken Joe could win and he could take out Tank in the end, which is really poetic and beautiful.
Yeah. Well, what I like the most about movies like this is it's not just, you know, grown-up jokes that are in the movie for the grown-ups to enjoy.
See, that's another thing that I appreciate in a kid's movie, is like ones that like the parents can clearly, adults can clearly see that there's like things in it for them, but the kids have no idea.
It's also just a really solid story with some good, relatable characters.
It's funny for all ages.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of people can relate to anybody in the movie.
Yeah.
But
I can really relate to that little baby penguin who keeps seeing the lifeguard talking to some other dude and is just like, And then he goes and tries to drown himself in the water to get her to come out.
I didn't realize it was because he saw her talking to another dude that he'd go drown himself. That he was just an idiot kid penguin.
See, at the end of the movie, Cody and Lonnie are about to peck, and Arnold's in the background. He says, "Don't do it! Help!" And he drowns.
Oh, that's cute.
This movie's so cute.
It is super cute. Oh, it's so good. I just love it so much. It is the best movie.
It's really, really good.
And then, Z makes his big reveal back to the public. He's like, hey, actually, I'm alive. Mm-hmm. And I know a good surf spot on the island that I've been hiding out at, and we should go over there. Mm-hmm. And then they all have fun surfing.
What I like there, too, there's this big promoter in the movie.
You can't believe we forgot about him.
Yeah, the porcupine, Reggie Belafonte is his name.
Yeah.
He's played by James Woods, who's Hades in Hercules.
Okay, yeah.
Also one of the best movies just ever.
Oh, so good.
I love it to bits. It invented music. Megara invented music in that movie.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't say I'm in love. Please.
Course. Yeah.
That's a good one.
But besides the point, this promoter, he's very much all about the money. He's all about the spectacle, and he will exploit tragedy for money and for fame and for the spectator culture. He's the toxic side of it. That's what we're seeing. Every surfer that we see in there that's not Tank Evans is usually a really chill dude who has the right mentality about it, and they have a really good rapport with each other. And it's very positive otherwise. But you do see people like Reggie and Tank who are just about the fame. And also go watch Jordan Peele's Nope, my single favorite movie of all time, because it explores the pursuit of spectacle and exploitation of tragedy a lot. It's very, very good. It's fantastic. I will talk to you for 17 hours about that movie. That's besides the point. But it's a really optimistic ending for Big Z to come back and shut him right up, to get him out of the spotlight.
Yeah.
It's not... It's something that I could definitely see critics being like, well, that's not really what would happen in real life. That's just not how it is. When you have money, you stay in the spotlight. That man's got all the money. He's managing everything. He controls everything. He'll just deplatform you if you disagree with him. But I like that this is an optimistic and still very sincere movie, because it's not don't meet your heroes. It's if it's not quite what you expected, keep working at it. Because there's still plenty to learn. This could be seen as a coming-of-age movie for either of those characters, for Cody or for Big Z.
Yeah.
That's what I love. I'm kind of addicted to the coming-of-age genre, because my favorite instances of it are usually when it's somebody who is much past the age of coming of age. Usually you think of The Breakfast Club. You think of teenagers. Mm-hmm. Guess who comes of age in that movie? The principal. There's always room to grow, no matter how old you are, no matter how experienced you are, no matter how jaded you are. And I like to see that kind of lesson be shown in, especially a kid's movie. It's really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't realize it's that deep, You think that you're just watching some silly little movie about surfing penguins. But the more I'm thinking about it, I was like, no, this is actually a very, very good movie.
Yes.
It's hilarious. It has great visuals.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Awesome storyline, really great framing. When he's drowning underwater, you're literally tossed and turned under there, as if you're being... It's just crazy to me. For 2007, you know what I mean? Obviously where we are at now, things look so realistic with the way they're able to do animation and everything. They can...
All I'm saying is everybody was talking about how great the ocean looked in Moana. Looks the exact same as in this movie. Sony Pictures had you 10 years earlier.
Exactly the same?
Yeah.
I love Moana.
Moana's really, 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 really good.
I want to be Moana.
That's Fantastic movie too.
Yeah, but one of the things that I loved too was when Cody was talking about how he thinks Big Z is the greatest, and it's showing like an old vintage video of him surfing. He says, "That's Big Z. He lived so hard because he wasn't afraid to live. He wasn't afraid to die," and I thought that was really inspirational.
It's really cool.
I appreciate that. I think when I first started solo traveling, I actually related to it because when I first started solo traveling, it was after a period of my life that I spent in like a really, really dark place, a really deep depression, and a place of like really wanting to die and not being afraid of it. And so like, yeah, I guess solo traveling the first time was scary, but I was also like, I literally have lived most of this year like not afraid of death. I'm not afraid to live. And it's just so crazy that this like kids movie said that, and I was like, that literally was something that like inspired me to change my life in like the most seriously drastic way. You know?
Yeah.
Is that same mindset. Was like, I live big because I mean, now I'm in a place that I think I feel differently towards death and all of that, but being in that state of mind, whether it came from, you know, a low place or a high place, it did inspire me to live bigger and to just be like, what's there to be afraid of, you know?
Yeah.
So I really liked that part of the movie. That was like in the beginning that I wanted to bring up.
Yeah. I think, again, Chicken Joe is like the thesis there. I think he's not very involved in the main plot of the story. He doesn't really change much of what happens. Like, it leads to him eventually finding Cody and leading him back to the beach, but Cody would have found his way back. It's whatever. But thinking about Chicken Joe's journey in this movie, honestly, there might have been a hint of... Well, like, this is a reach, okay? Bear with me, because this is a reach here. I think there might have been a hint of racism directed toward him throughout this movie, because everybody's like mocking him and almost taking pity on him.
He's referred to as a chicken and not a penguin.
He's referred to as the chicken by most characters in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
that
Joe?
scene almost is like a novelty, you know?
Yeah.
Like he is a commodity and a joke for what he is. But he doesn't care. He's living goofy, and he's fine with it. He sits on the spout of the whale that they're all traveling on, and he keeps getting his butt freezes from that water spout. It's fun. He has a fun time. Everybody's like, somebody help the chicken. But then, it's kind of fun.
Chicken's doing just fine. The chicken's helping everybody else.
And they even say it.
I can't believe I just... Chicken Joe, I mean. There I go, falling into the pressures of calling him the chicken.
And... during the final event, when they're surfing the final wave, one of the commentators of the tournament says, nobody needs to help this chicken. And that's kind of, you know, it's goofy. It's a callback to the lines that they've been saying throughout the movie. But he doesn't need help. You think he needs help. He's living his life and he's doing just fine. He's having a fun time. He's being made fun of. He's being mocked. But he's making all these silly choices because he wants to. And he's chill, and he's pushing people towards what they want. Like he's trying to be a wingman for Cody when he first meets Lonnie. You know, like, come on, man, she's digging you. She called you crap.
He's so supportive.
Yeah, he goes into the jungle, can't find his buddy, but he just keeps on trying for at least a whole day. Kidnapped by cannibals. He is being antagonized. He is being attacked. He doesn't care. He's getting a good bath out of it. It's
all about perspective.
Yes, it is all about perspective for Chicken Joe.
Wow. I didn't know he was so deep.
And he's also exactly what Big Z is trying to preach to Cody, while also still being a part of the competition.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He literally didn't even know he won at the end. But he did. But whereas Big Z was like, no, you shouldn't care about winning. In fact, don't compete at all. Chicken Joe is more like, I don't really care about winning. I'm competing for the love of the game. That's the middle ground that Cody and Big Z need to find. And that Chicken Joe found before the movie began.
I'm floored.
Isn't this movie so good?
It's so deep. And honestly, okay, you know what I was thinking though? The character development they were able to make happen in an hour and a half. I thought it was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, sitcoms go entire seasons looking for this kind of character development. Like how the geek and Big Z, like how you watch his downfall and then, you know, he's hiding out and then he becomes a bit more inspired and he starts surfing again because Cody re-inspired that in him. And Cody, you know, he's just some punk from Antarctica who wants to be a big surfer. And then he goes and he's with actual surfers and he gets his ass handed to him. He's like, all right, I guess I got to actually learn. Tries to take the easy way out. When he's trying to make his surfboard, it breaks instantly. Like, he learns that he has to actually do quality work, not just like try and get out there and do it fast. And in the beginning, he cares so much about winning this competition and proving everybody back home wrong. And then when he's on the island, like he doesn't talk about people back home at all. Like he's not even concerned about that. And I think that's also such a big important thing too, is like those people back in Antarctica are still talking trash on him. And he is like, he's not even bothered by it once he leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think the character development is really impressive for the movie.
Especially for how much it kind of diverges and like takes the focus away from him, because they spend a lot of time talking to the other characters in the movie, just like the random side characters.
Well, do you feel like we've talked about surfing penguins enough?
I don't think so, actually.
Oh, okay,
I'd like to be respectful of your time, but I do have other things here.
Okay.
There's a character in there I always really enjoyed as a kid, but I didn't really actually think about. I didn't really hear any of his actual lines. The scout, the talent scout, this little bird. I don't even know what kind of bird he is.
Just a little twerpy bird.
Yeah, he's another one of those characters, those little anime characters. He's got the silly little legs. He walks really fast, you know.
He's high strung. He's always stressed out.
Yeah, as a kid, that's like, oh, that guy's really cute. That's my favorite character because he's cute and goofy. And there's a part he worked so hard for Reggie, and Reggie didn't even care. But he set up this whole extravagant display for the competition, and he's so lightheaded that like his voice gets higher, as if he just huffed a helium balloon or something. And I was thinking, it's weird that this character, so marketable to me as a child, is really more of a character for the adults to relate to. Like working for a crappy boss who doesn't appreciate you and who doesn't understand the work that goes into what he has. And honestly, this little bird, Mikey, he's mean. He's mean to Cody in his first appearance when he goes to the island, or to Shiverpool. And it's not like he's trying to say he doesn't believe in Cody. It's more that he's like, this is going to chew you up and spit you out, so for your sake, don't bother. But that can very much read as, damn, kid, you suck. Get out of here.
Yeah, like, not worth my time, whatever.
Yeah.
Cutthroat.
But there's kind of a cool layer to that. Anyway,
I never thought much about that character, really.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how there's just... Every little character in here has some role to play.
It's really all just a metaphor for life.
And the last thing...
as a whole.
The last thing I want to talk about a little bit is the music, because I don't know too many of the songs in here, but I noticed a real shift in what music was playing. In the first 20 minutes, there are 2 Green Day songs that are played. At least I think the second one's a Green Day song. It sounds a lot like it. The first one is Holiday, which obviously everybody knows Holiday is in the Surfing Penguins movie. But there's another one when they get right to the island. It's like Welcome to Paradise or something. And Green Day is very angsty, very anti-establishment for sure. And when it shifts from... when Cody moves on from being very, I need to prove everybody wrong, to... man, I love surfing. It switches to a much more relaxed vibe, almost reggae, I think. It's kind of funny. There's a reggae song that plays in the credits, but I don't remember hearing any like full reggae in the music itself or in the movie itself. But how the music kind of tracks along with his development and his shift in mindset is really cool to me.
I did not notice that at all. But that's really cool. And that's where like your background in studying film is really, really coming into play. And that's what I think is really interesting about the two of us talking about the same movie, because like the things that I am picking out are from like a viewer perspective, and I feel like the things that you're picking out are from like a production perspective.
And the other thing is, you're speaking from like life experience. You know, you've surfed before. You said you relate to some of the early experiences Cody has in the movie where he's getting wiped out, and you've traveled, you've lived hard. You are picking up on things that I haven't experienced. I'm picking up on things that I've just seen before. And there's a lot of overlap there, sure, but there's a lot of enlightenment in sharing those perspectives.
And how we both see it as like this amazing movie, and we're agreeing about, you know, the reasons, but our initial thoughts of like what we want to bring to the episode and analyzing it, kind of supposed to be kind of a funny, lighthearted thing, but also we're picking out different things. It's
Surfing's
just
real, man. I think that's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Well, this has been super fun to finally introduce you to the podcast. Thanks so much for listening, joining once again. And if you like the episode, please go ahead and give the podcast a rating review wherever you're listening.
Like, download, share, everywhere.
Everything. Turn on automatic downloads. It really, really helps. Share with friends and follow on socials at Lila by Alexa Joe. And that's what we got.